everybody. Welcome to Ironbound Gym live at home, live classes at home. And this is Qigong, which is sort of a Taoist yoga kind of thing. You can get on the floor or you don't need any special equipment for it. Unfortunately, we also can't have music here. So if you want music, just get your phone or whatever you use for music and put on something soft and slow, because all the movements are soft and slow, like you're moving through a gentle resistance of some sort. If you hear sounds like I've heard lawnmowers and the trees swishing around and the high winds outside, you just notice that and let it go. A part of mindfulness isn't having to have complete quiet when you're focusing. And actually, sometimes it's helpful to do this where there's distractions, because you just notice the distractions and let them go. We'll start off with our posture, our balance, and our breathing. Your foundation is that invisible line around the outsides of your feet. Everything inside that rectangle is going to be a very solid foundation that you have. You have your feet firmly connected to the floor. Acupressure point in the center of each forefoot, the bubbling wells. You can have an energetic connection to the earth. You can have a rooting connection to the earth. There's a lot of visualization in this. So you can visualize roots growing into the earth from the ball of the foot at the base of the big toe, base of the little toe, the center of the heel, just to get you really solidly connected, and you start to relax down into your feet. And just paying attention to how the bottoms of your feet feel against the floor. If sealing your feet that tightly to the floor tends to make your knees bow in like that, because if you're like me and have flat feet, that happens. You just bring your arches up so your knees are lined up with your toes, and everything we do will be lined up with your toes. Connect yourself upwards. You have a byway spot. Same place as the crown chakra in yoga, pulling you up, making you taller. Tops of your shoulders parallel to the floor. Tops of your hips are parallel to the floor. Tailbone drops a little bit. Hips move back a little bit. Flattens out your stomach and your spine. Shoulders relax down the center line. Imaginary line across your eyes and ears are parallel to the floor. So you're balanced in all directions. You feel equally balanced front, back, left, and right. As your head rises and your chin tucks in, it makes your head nice and balanced on your shoulders. Just breathe into your diaphragm as best as you can. And in through your nose if you can. I know it's hay fever season. And as you exhale, you can breathe out through the nose or the mouth. If you breathe out through the mouth, you just sigh. And with that sound, you let whatever tension, whatever tightness is in your body just soften, relax, and flow out. Just let your arms float up with your palms facing about shoulder high. Turn your hands towards your face. Press in like you're pressing your head back a little bit. Drop your elbows. Turn your hands. You press out. Your arms extend out like the joints are all expanding out, but you keep some softness, a bend in your elbow. Drop your arms back down. Tuck your chin a bit. Arms come up. As you inhale and exhale. And inhale. Exhale. One more. Come back to the center. Arms come up again. Let one arm, either one, it doesn't matter. Palm faces towards the floor with some bend in your wrist. Other arm folds over so the palm lines up with the forehead. Shoulders nice and relaxed, so you want to keep upper dantian or third eye lined up with that lagom point. As you turn 70% of your range of motion to that side and get some more movement in your neck, you come back to the center. Arms come up, palms face. It's an exhale to the side and an inhale to the center. We'll do two more on each side and just soften into it, relax into it. And back to the center. Another one for your neck, you just turn your head to the side. Again, 70% of your range of motion. Let your chin drop down. Roll across the bottom. You don't press it down, you just let it roll. Then go straight across the center line. Exhale across the bottom. Inhale across the center. Then we'll just reverse and go in the other direction. Back to the center. And we'll just do forward shoulder rolls. Loosen up the shoulders. Remember, if you have issues with your rotator cuffs, you can just rotate your arms so your palms are facing behind you and make the circles with your elbows. And all this, you adapt it to whatever feels most comfortable for you. Just reverse, shoulder rolls to the back. If you can't smile when you're doing it, you just adapt it until you can. And then arms come up, balancing everything out, but you're bringing in energy from the sky, from the earth, pressing it down through your body. It's an inhale and exhale. Bring your arms up, and bring your forearms in so your palms and your forearms touch. Again, adapt it to whatever you need to, and if that's uncomfortable, just visualize yourself doing it. You open up the chest, bringing your arms back. It's like your shoulder blades are almost going to touch in the back. It's an exhale to the front and an inhale back. Bring your arms back out till they're even with your shoulders, and for your elbows, you just extend your arms out. Again, letting those joints expand. Hands come back towards your shoulders, but not quite all the way. Then you reach out. It's an inhale back and exhale. Your arms are coming back and your fingers are pointed straight up. Just pause there. We're going to focus on the wrists for a moment. Just let your hands tilt towards you and away from you. And it's pretty normal if your wrists pop when you're doing this. I almost always do. And then towards and away from each other. And then circles one way, and the other way. Fold your fingers over so you have those soft Tai-Chi fists, thumbs on the outside, and your fingers are just folded in. You're not clenching your fists at all. You reach out, you feel that arm extend outwards. Open your hand, then curl your fingers back in and pull back. It's an exhale and an inhale. Good to do this outside if you can. All Tai Chi Qigong movements are based in nature. I don't have a stable Wi-Fi signal outside, so I'm doing it in the living room. Just flex your fingers. Bring your hands so your fingertips are facing towards each other. As you inhale, you expand all the joints. Fingers get longer, your wrists get longer, you exhale, and then just relax where they were. It's an inhale, exhale. Just remember with the breathing, it's to your abdomen. And Make the exhale last a little bit longer than the inhale. That really triggers that relaxation response and calms things down just with your breathing. I'm going to stretch the back a little bit. Hold the ball. Arm on top has the elbow drop lower than the shoulder to take the pressure off your rotator cuff. Lower hand presses out and upwards. Upper hand presses down. Come back to the center. It's an exhale and an inhale. Remember, you keep some softness, some bend in the elbows, even when you're stretching your arms out like this. You never lock a joint, or never fully compress a joint either. When you get back to the center, there's another one for your back where you just rotate just from the hips up, so everything from the hips down stays nice and still, and it doesn't matter for these if you're going left or right, but for this one, I've got this hand on top, so I'm going to rotate till the hands line up with the hip on that side. Keeping the palms facing, just turn the hands around and you come back to the hip on the other side. If you want, you can synchronize your breathing so you're inhaling in one direction and exhaling in the other. This also massages internal organs, a big part of Qigong and Tai Chi is the massage of internal organs. Tai Chi is an internal martial art, but all the movements in it are also Qigong movements. But not all Qigong movements are Tai Chi movements. Come back to the center. Make sure you're nice and balanced. Put your hands to one side. Like you're going to press into a wall, shift all your weight into that foot on that side. Now that's my foundation. There's no weight in the other foot at all. Other foot can reach out and touch because you want to feel some stretch right about in here in your hip. Other side, if you're pretty comfortable with your balance, you don't even have to touch your foot down. And back to the center. Another one for the hips is almost like you're a clock with a pendulum. You put your palms down like you're leaning on a banister. You shift all your weight into one foot, neither side, it doesn't matter. Other foot goes straight up, heel touches, comes straight back, forefoot touches. If you need to rebalance in the middle, you just touch your forefoot down. If you don't need to, you can just let your foot not even touch the ground. It can almost swing like a pendulum. For this, counterbalance with your arms. Keep your body perpendicular over the foot that's holding all your weight. Come back to the center. Same thing other side. It's made it a little more interesting for me by trying not to get my foot tangled up in the cord from the microphone. Just come back to center. And you have your feet with your toes pointed towards the corner. There's a little bit of space between your heels, and all of this is designed to try to get energy moving in your body, blood flowing efficiently. So you don't compress your arms or your groin. There's always some space there. Shift your weight into one foot, you rotate the other foot, it steps forward, you counterbalance with the opposite arm, touch, come back. And again, if you feel pretty comfortable with your balance, you don't even have to touch your foot down on the front. You can use it as a toe kick or a heel kick. I'm just going to do it gently. Next one for the knees is very similar, except you shift your weight into one side, you step up to what's called a bow stance. You shift your weight so you can see there's some space between the insides of the feet, so have stability front, back, and sideways. You don't want to line them up like you're on a tightrope. You want to be like you're on a railroad track. And then punch with the opposite arm, come back. And this one you can get a really good full body stretch because again you visualize all the joints expanding outwards, and almost every time I do this I pop my neck, and I just did the very first one we did. So it's an exhale out and an inhale back. Another thing with the forward foot, the knee stays behind the toe, so if you were to drop a string from your knee, it should not go beyond your toes. In the back foot, the heel stays flat on the floor. And that's true, especially in young style. If you lift that heel and you shift your weight up like that, your center is going to be somewhere outside your foundation, and it throws your balance off. So everything we do, you're going to be centered over your foundation. For your ankles, you shift all your weight into one foot, and it's a heel and toe. And the same thing on the other side. And then for lateral motion in the ankle, just pick a spot on the floor, outside the foot, inside the foot, touch as close to the same spot as you can, so you isolate the ankle, you're not moving your whole leg. And the same thing on the other side. And then being very gentle with your knees and hips. And ankles, shift all your weight into one foot, and first you make circles in one direction, and then the other direction. Same thing other side. In reverse. We always try to do a little bit of balance work in class. If you need to have a chair and put your hand on it, or even just touch your fingers to the wall, it can really help with balance. But you start off just by shifting your weight from one side to the other, so you really get a sense of how the bottoms of your feet feel connected to the earth as your weight shifts from one side to the other. One of the issues with balance is over time we don't have as much feedback from our feet as we did when we were younger, especially if you wear really thick-soled shoes. There was a barefoot running craze a few years ago, and one of the issues that they talked about was really heavily soled shoes. People tend to come down harder on those and tend to heel strike in those, which slows you down and also puts a lot of stress on your knee. Ankle, hip slows you down. All your weight goes in one foot, the other foot, just the toe comes up a little bit. There's a Qigong for Parkinson's where they have you do this, and then they have you just kind of touch your toe down and move it out a little bit, pretending like you're carrying groceries and can't see your feet. And that helps you know if you're coming up towards a curb or a step where that is. One of my teachers was an ice dance coach for the French Olympic team. She was from Nottingham, England. This time, just let your knee float up. And one of the things she did was teach her local fire department Tai Chi, and especially this being aware of the bottoms of your feet, because when they're in all of their equipment, they couldn't see their feet. And when they're walking along, when they put their foot down, they want to have some sense of whether that floor is going to be stable or not. So again, it's just getting you more aware of your surroundings. Shift your weight to the other side. This time it's your heel that comes up, just like you've taken a step. Let it come back down. Other side. And when you're practicing these at home, you can hold them for however long you want. Bring your leg up, just drop your hand on your thigh. I used to practice the one-legged standing with my eyes closed, and still do sometimes, but it really saved me in some road races when a foot came down when I was running in what I thought was going to be solid ground, but it turned out to be grass that was hiding a ditch, and it kept me from falling. I'm going to walk just a little bit, as best as I can with this thing. Just shift your weight into one foot, either foot, it doesn't matter. Foot comes up very slowly, just like you're walking on railroad tracks. So it goes straight ahead, it comes down, you shift your weight into it. Other foot comes up, very slow. You inhale as your foot comes up, exhale as it comes down. So inhale, exhale. One more. If you're in a very small space, you can do mindful walking in place, actually. And just relax, come back to center. Just shift your weight from one side to the other. You visualize warm, salty water, the same salinity and temperature as your body, just flowing from one side to the other, cleansing all the cells, getting any impurities out, getting you healthier. Start at your toes, work all the way up to the top of your head, down your fingertips. Feel any tightness, any tension anywhere, just breathe into it and let it soften. And just flow from one side to the other as you pour that water. And then just on your center axis, start to swing from one side to the other. Just loosen up everything. Let your arms flow like your hands are tether balls attached directly to your spine. Your shoulders disappear. If you have your eyes closed when you're doing this, you visualize yourself in a place where you feel very safe and secure and calm and serene. Doing this with your eyes closed makes you a little wheezy. You just open your eyes and look straight ahead with your eyes focused on something that's not moving. Same trick ice skaters use when they spin. Come back to center. This time you're holding a very large ball. The upper hand's going to keep your head nice and steady. Lower hand's going to move the hip out a little bit, but you keep yourself centered over your foundation and turn the hands, keeping the palms facing. Go back to the other side. Again, you can just synchronize your breathing if you want from one side to the other. Come back to center like you're holding the ball in front of you. One really good meditation exercise is something called open and close, where you just inhale and exhale. Visualize a big ball of energy that's trying to get bigger. You're trying to keep it from getting bigger. So you're pressing against it and you're able to press it back in, but it's still resisting. You're using the muscles in your upper back. You can breathe with your whole body almost. So you expand and contract everything. You have issues with your wrists too. There's another one you can do with holding the ball where you keep your palms facing, just turning your hands around like you're holding the ball. And if you have a ball about that size, you can do that. What you're doing is trying to keep a line between your Laogong points intact, that it doesn't break. So you could use a ball, you could actually use a stick. There's a stick version of Tai Chi. What you don't want to end up doing is something like this. You keep your palms facing and just come back to the center. This is a form my teacher taught me a long time ago. Bring your hands up, big fists. You open your chest, you look to one side, you exhale to the center. It's an inhale and exhale. Just relax back with your hands near your hips. One hand comes up, again, either hand, it doesn't matter. It goes palm out, pressing towards the corner. You soften your knees so there's a little bit of a bend in your knees. Your arm extends out. You come back. It's an exhale. An inhale. Pushing the mountain. So get that nice twist. Again, you have to keep your knees soft. Back to the center. This time your arms floating up and you're looking just beyond your hand. It's called fair bathing looks. Hand comes back down. It's an inhale up. Exhale down, again, moving like you're moving through water. Inhale. Exhale. This time when your hand comes down, one hand comes, it's going to go over top of the other hand. And this one, it took me a while to figure out, so no worries, just however you're most comfortable with it. But your arms float up as they do. The hand that was on the bottom is now on top. This one. So I open and look in that corner. When the hands come down, that hand's going to come underneath. Hands rise up, and the hands are going to trade places, so the other hand's on top. Open, look to the corner. It's an inhale, an exhale. Inhale, exhale, inhale, and exhale. Inhale, exhale. Let's do one more on each side. This time when your hands come down, you interlace your fingers. Hands going to come up. Like you're pressing upwards to the sky. If you can, you come up on your toes. You come back down, you arc to one side, and then to the other side. Come down. It's an inhale. Exhale, shoulders popped. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Sometimes I think they should call Qigong Rice Krispies the way things snap and crackle and pop when you do these things. Come back down. This time you're going to hold the ball again. This is opening the blossom. Hands start to rise. The lower hand rotates with its palm down. You open and you look to the side of the hand that was on top. When your hands come back down, other hands on top. Rise up. Out. It's an inhale and an exhale. Breathe in and out. One more on each side. Hands come back down. It's like you're holding a ball about level with that lower dantian. You're going to keep your knees nice and soft. Hands come up to one side. And back down. It's an inhale. And exhale. This one always reminds me of those wave machines that look sort of like horizontal lava lamps. Just let your shoulders be relaxed when you do this one. Everything's nice and soft. Do one more on each side. Back to the center. Arms come up and down. Open and close. Arms come up and your arms extend outwards and they come back. Open, close, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, couple more. Fingertips face, hands rise up. You rotate the hands so when they get to the top, fingertips are facing again, and then they come back down. It's an inhale on the way up, and exhale on the way down. Inhale, and exhale. Breathe in, out, and down. Hands are about even with that lower dantian. And this one is making circles. Every move in Tai Chi Qigong, for the most part, are going to be circles and arcs. There's really no straight lines. Again, you're using your whole body, so keep your knees soft, making circles first in one direction. In the other direction. Again, all the movements very slow and soft. Middle dantian, circles one way. And the other way. It comes up with the upper dantian. Upper dantian stands for elixir field. The kind of Western medicine lines up with electromagnetic fields reverse around your brain, upper dantian around your heart, middle dantian around your enteric nervous system for your lower dantian. It's Chinese medicine anyway is a really big one. Hands come down. Shift your weight into one leg, point your toe towards the corner with the other leg. You shift your weight up and you grab just like a tiger. And you keep your feet flat on the floor as you shift your weight forward and back. And again, just pay attention to how the bottoms of your feet feel. It's an exhale and an inhale. We're going to reverse, like we're scooping something up. We're going to do the same thing to the other side to balance things out. So first it's grabbing and pulling back. The reverse, like you're scooping up. Back to the center. You can have one hand with your palm up by your hip, or you can put it like you're going to be the little teapot. Either way is okay. And your palm on the other side is facing outwards. And you're shifting your weight back and forth, coming down and sweeping across. Inhale. Exhale. And then just reverse, comes across the top, sweeps across the bottom, and pushes out. So you're getting that turn at the waist, keeping your knees nice and soft, but again, you're massaging internal organs. They want everything to move around inside, so you expel whatever impurities there may be, so you can have clean Qi coming in. Balance it out, we'll do the other side. Come down to the bottom and then sweep across the top. Inhale. Exhale. You're going to reverse, come across the top and sweep up from underneath. Back to the center. If you hear snoring, that's Annie the Beagle. Qigong always makes her very relaxed. I'm going to do one to the corner where your arms are going to cross like this, and you have really big acupressure points in your wrists. So hopefully, if you haven't yet, at some point during this part, you'll feel some tingling or some heat or some redness in your palms. So again, you're using your whole body. You come back. Inhale and exhale. Come back to the center. Other side. Back to the center. Feet are a little bit further apart as the insides of your feet line up with the outsides of your shoulders. And you bring your hands so your fingertips are facing some space on your arms. A little bit of a bend in your knees. So again, you're in a central neutral position. And in 5 energies, this is the earth position. So just inhale. Exhale. I'm going to count it out like that, but you breathe at whatever pace is most comfortable for you. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. One more. All the energies, the 5 energies, are complementary in one way or another. So earth gives rise to metal, and we can remember that because we mine metal out of the earth. This one we did a little bit earlier, but it's open and closed. So it's inhale, exhale, inhale, and exhale. I'll keep in mind about the width of my shoulders, more or less. You can make your separation wider or less wide, whatever again feels most comfortable for you. Just pay attention to the rotator cuffs, how your shoulders feel, and adapt. Hands come back down to the earth position. Metal gives rise to water. It makes sense when you think about condensation on a very humid day. Water flows down, so again, 70% of your range of motion, and you're not leaning over when you do this. Your hips are going back like you're about to sit into a chair. So you're keeping your head over that foundation as you exhale down and inhale up. Back to the center. Water gives rise to the energy of wood. Rotate your hands so your fingers are facing forward. You make a big circle that comes up just about even with your chin and comes down as you inhale and exhale. Back to earth. Wood gives rise to fire. That's pretty easy to remember. You rotate on that center axis till your left hand lines up with your left hip. Your right hand comes up over top. And it's going to be a sideways open and close like a bellows. So it's an inhale and exhale. Come back to the center, rotate your hands so the palms are side by side. When you get to the middle, then you just go to the right hip with the left hand on top and inhale and exhale, inhale, exhale. Back to the center. Bring your hands up, and it's massaging energy channels. You come down the back, you kind of rub your kidneys a little bit, and then up the front. Kind of interesting in Chinese Qi theory, you have what's called primordial Qi, which is a Qi you inherit from your parents, and it's stored in the kidney meridian. There's a lot of times in some of these you must rub your hands together, get them really warm, and then put them over your kidneys. Doesn't matter if you believe that or not, but just kind of rubbing your lower back and trying to warm it up can make it feel better anyway. Oh, last one. Bring your arms in front like you're hugging a big old tree so that you're in a standing pole or standing stake. So you're basically a horse riding stance with your legs. So there's some bend in your knees, but you're perpendicular over that center spot of your foundation. And if you're doing this on your own, just hold it for however long you want. And breathe and relax into it. Just let everything relax. And to finish it off, you want to balance everything out. So inhale up and exhale down. We'll do 3. Thanks for joining me. Hope you have a great weekend. Stay well, stay safe, and see you next week. And you can catch these anytime you want on Ironbound Gym classes live at home. Thank you.